doing catastrophically. They spent $300 million and it currently has a 2.2 out of 10 rating on IMDb.
The movie has a major identity crisis.
Oh my God.
Part of the first, fairy tale ever told.
There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her. Weird.
Hardcore.
They're petrified of some kind of backlash.
I wanted my money back. It was very disappointing.
Rachel Zegler, yes, the same Rachel who was hyped up as the next big princess, is now making headlines for all the wrong reasons. Just a year ago, she was Disney's golden girl, the fresh new face leading the charge into a bold new era of live-action fairy tales. But now, she's reportedly back home, living with her parents. Let that sink in. From red carpets and magazine covers to unpacking boxes in her childhood bedroom, whoo, that's not just a step back. That's a full-blown rewind. And this ain't just a random rumor. Hollywood insiders are whispering that this move came after a total PR disaster exploded around her and the film she was supposed to lead to glory.
Guessing that she's not married. I'm guessing that she doesn't have kids. The movie is a complete disaster, by the way.
Pretending like Rachel Zegler is the first of them all when she looks like Lord Farquaad in the film.
No one on the right side of America can stand the star of this movie.
Have they ever thought about maybe like a little bit of vulnerability study, opposition research, that sort of thing before you go and hire some...
And if you thought that was bad, buckle up because it gets even messier. Just as Rachel was packing her bags and quietly returning to her family home, Disney made a move that sent shockwaves through the industry. They yanked Snow White merchandise off the shelves. Gone. Wiped clean. No toys, no dolls, no cute little princess costumes, just gone. Quietly, strategically, and with zero public acknowledgement. It was a silent, brutal confirmation of what everyone already suspected. That this remake was not just a misstep, it was a complete disaster. The kind of disaster that even Disney couldn't put a bow on. What was supposed to be the crown jewel of Disney's remake empire has now become a cautionary tale. A warning shot to every studio thinking they can ignore their audience, toss some glossy visuals on screen and call it magic. Arrogance? Check. PR blunders? Check. Audience backlash? Oh, you better believe it. And caught right in the middle of this train wreck, Miss Rachel Zegler herself.
And she said, I apologize. I went too far. But it wasn't.
Last week was a very big week, objectively a huge week. We had quite a few announcements. It's the first live-action film, which is Snow White and the Evil Queen. And that's me. I'm Snow White, which is so fun.
Remaking the movie, they just got rid of the dwarfs. But they have one token dwarf amongst these magical creatures. You actually just went backwards. You actually just erased the dwarfism side of it, the disability, like we're a disability group.
This movie was supposed to be a massive win, a global sensation, but instead, it's now the go-to example of what happens when a studio bets big and loses harder than anyone thought possible. Disney yanking that merchandise, that wasn't a small move, that was a thunderclap across the industry. Merch sales are Disney's cash cow, one of their biggest moneymakers. Pulling Snow White off the shelves doesn't just say we're disappointed, it screams this brand is toxic right now. You don't just quietly cancel merch unless you've already given up hope, and baby, Disney has given up.
Disney boss babe, who is Rachel Zegler, the inverse of...
I sat through the whole thing. This was really bad. It was extremely leftist on every political dimension. Racial politics, sexual politics, class politics, regime politics. Its narrative was cowardly. It was just awful.
It's got extra musical numbers that are incredibly unnecessary that really add to that runtime, and let me go ahead and let you know that they're absolutely
and it's not just reputational damage. The numbers, they're straight up brutal. Disney dumped somewhere between $240.00 and $270 million.00 into this movie, expecting it to be another Lion King level hit. Instead, it limped out of the gate and never found its footing. It didn't dominate, it didn't trend. It didn't even stir up the kind of curiosity that gets people in seats. It flopped, and hard.
Apparently, according to them and according to the writers of Snow White, women can't even want to be in love anymore.
And you know the saying, go woke, get broke, and Disney's gonna lose money on this movie, and I believe it only made less than $1 million.
They say all you have to do to make your wish come true is let it echo, 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 echo.
Controversy in Snow White. The dwarves have been eliminated in the live action.
Yeah.
Now it's Snow White and the 7 magical beings.
Wait, it's 7 and the magical beings?
Yeah,
they won't even say
magical
and the 7
beings.
dwarves?
No, because they're not dwarves. For right now, That's the only jobs that are there.
Disney deleted Someday My Prince Will Come and made a modernized feminine.
So, how much did they make back? Just under $195 million, 0 cents globally. And let's be real, when you're spending nearly $300 million, 0 cents after factoring in global marketing, that's a massive loss. That number doesn't even cover the production costs, let alone the promo billboards, influencer deals, and all those interviews Rachel Zegler did that now feel like relics from a different lifetime. It's not just a flop, it's a failure they can't spin. A colossal misfire that nobody at Disney saw coming, or maybe they did and just chose to look the other way. And now, industry insiders are whispering that Disney could lose upwards of $115 million 0 cents from this one film alone. And that's the generous estimate. Some are saying it could be way more once you factor in write-offs, unsold merchandise, and canceled licensing deals. Let's be clear, this isn't just a bad day at the office for Disney. This is a full-scale humiliation for a company known for billion-dollar remakes. From Beauty and the Beast to The Lion King, Disney was printing money. But Snow White, that gravy train just got derailed. And guess who's getting the blame? Zegler. Critics say her casting was off, her interviews worse. Remember when she called the original Snow White creepy and joked about not needing a prince? That didn't just ruffle feathers, it poured gasoline on a fan base already on edge. What was meant to be a feminist reimagining turned into a PR firestorm. Audiences felt mocked. Loyal Disney fans felt dismissed. The controversy swallowed the film whole before it even had a chance. Rachel's comments didn't just spark backlash, they buried the film's chances. Fans weren't talking about the CGI or the costumes, they were talking about how the lead actress seemed to hate the very thing she was supposed to represent. And Disney, instead of backing her up, they started pulling back fast. The press junkets canceled. Influencer promos vanished. Interviews ghosted. It's like the studio realized we can't save this and just started walking away quietly but decisively. But the most brutal move of all, that merch pull. No warning, no official statement, just gone. Dolls, costumes, coloring books, either removed or slashed down to clearance prices. The shelves where Snow White once sat proudly are now filled with other franchises Disney can still sell. The message is clear. Nobody's buying what Snow White's selling, literally or figuratively. And that move wasn't random. Sources say Disney made it after watching early audience reactions nosedive. Theater chains reported empty seats even on premiere weekends. International markets, usually Disney's saving grace, wanted no part of it, and the leadership allegedly in panic mode. Behind closed doors, insiders say Disney execs have been holding emergency meetings, trying to figure out how they let this one crash so spectacularly. And here's the kicker, it's not just about Snow White anymore. The ripple effects are massive. Studios everywhere are now rethinking their remake strategies. Projects that were already greenlit, on ice. Films that were halfway through production, quietly shelved. One failure, this failure, has them second-guessing everything. Even Disney, the House of Mouse, seems shaken to its core, and the internal memo is clear, stop rubber stamping every classic with a modern twist. Fans aren't buying the updates. They want the heart, the magic, the nostalgia, not lectures and Twitter drama. Meanwhile, Rachel Zegler, she's not exactly vanished, but she's definitely in hiding. No more LA parties, no viral red carpets, no major Hollywood buzz. Instead, she switched gears completely, taking on the lead in Evita on London's West End. On paper, that sounds smart. A return to her roots. A vocal showcase, a chance to prove she's more than a PR nightmare. But once again, the reality is a lot messier because Evita isn't pulling in the crowds. Audiences just aren't showing up. The theater isn't sold out. Ticket sales are underwhelming, even with Zegler's name front and center. For someone who was once touted as the future of Disney, this is not the comeback she wanted, and the buzz behind the scenes, it's not great. Sources close to the production are worried. They say the controversy is following Rachel across the Atlantic. Some theatergoers don't want to support her. Others are still side-eyeing her Snow White comments. And let's be real, when people think of Zegler right now, they're not thinking triple-X talent. They're thinking damage control. The headlines aren't celebrating her stage performance. They're still talking about the merch pull, about the flop, about the career that feels like it's spiraling before it ever fully launched. Instead of a triumphant theater return, this feels more like a retreat, a low-key pivot, a soft reset to ride out the storm. But even that isn't working the way it should, because the drama won't let her go. And the deeper truth is this, Rachel Zegler's entire brand is now under scrutiny. Every move she makes is being analyzed. Every post, every project, every stage she steps on. It all comes with the baggage of that box office disaster. And girl, the internet doesn't forget. The Snow White flop wasn't just a bad look, it was the look. The one that sticks, the one that lingers. And even if Zegler nails every note on that stage, people still ask the same question. Can she come back from this? Or is this just her slow fade into obscurity? But here's where it really gets wild. This whole mess, it's bigger than just one actress. This disaster is shaking up Hollywood from top to bottom. Studios that once chased the live-action remake formula are now slamming the brakes. Suddenly, everyone's scared to be the next Snow White. There's buzz that entire slates of nostalgic reboots are being reevaluated. And the new directive? Get back to the basics. Stop with the forced messaging. Stop ignoring fans. Stop acting like legacy stories are yours to rewrite with no consequences. Because Snow White just reminded everyone fans have power, and when they feel disrespected, they fight back. With silence, with empty seats, and with receipts left on the shelves. The brutal truth? Nostalgia alone isn't enough anymore. Slapping a beloved title on a poster and flooding it with CGI won't work if the soul is missing. If the characters feel hollow. If the storytelling feels like a lecture instead of an escape. Disney ignored that lesson and paid the price. And the saddest part? It could have been avoided. From the moment Zegler started making offhand comments about how outdated the original was,